All right, what is going on, guys? It is time for another episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. How's everybody doing this morning? All right, how's the Dakar hangover? Are we done? Are we good now? Right? 2 complete weeks, pretty much 2 complete weeks of all Dakar coverage. I hope you guys enjoyed and saw everything that we did. It was absolutely awesome. Having even Gnarly Dave in the studio live. Even the NAR files that we did, a very awesome job there. Liz making it happen already. I think we're gonna have to come up with a title, better title. I think that'll be the game plan. But how's everybody doing? All right, are we ready to go? Are we ready for lap number 2 of the Dakar Rally, or we're gonna chill for a little bit? Who's motivated? Who's thinking like, all right, let's get some more rally stuff going on. Let's, I don't know. What are we gonna do to help grow the North American Rally thing? I want to know how Ricky Brabeck is gonna do the celebration when he gets back stateside. Last time, 2020, when he won, they did a big party over at Baja HQ, which was pretty awesome to see that. That was also the year that I believe Casey Curry won their class as well. So very interesting to see. Let's see how that one shakes down. But all right, we're back at it. We're back to our regularly scheduled stuff. You guys are going to be seeing this a little bit different, though. I was talking to Jeremy from Jay's Speed Shop last night. He's like, hey, so are you doing this on Spotify as well? And I'm like, yeah, well, I guess that's right. We do have Spotify videos. So we're going to be on YouTube as you guys are watching this now. A lot of you are. And then we're also going to be doing this on Spotify video and their podcast platform. So if you're on any of the other platforms, guys, don't worry. You're still listening to me. It's all available in audio. So no worries on that one. But very excited. We got a lot coming this year, and I am excited to get started on it already. Already organizing the garage a little bit, and I got some things going on. So let's talk a little bit about what is coming. The main focus right now, these first few weeks, is going to be preparation for the Coast to Coast Rally, which is going to be coming up from Veracruz to Puerto Escondido. So that is only just a few weeks away, and it is a very, very short amount of time for a rally to be going on. If you guys haven't heard the audio episode, head on back a couple of episodes, and you're going to hear the episode with Patrick Reyes, who's one of the organizers of the Coast to Coast Rally. So very interesting, very awesome to see. I can't wait to see some of these bivouacs that we're going to be staying at. Very, very awesome to see. I saw the pictures last year from Justin from West by 1000. Absolutely just banger images. And I'm like, dude, I missed out on this. I totally FOMO. So not going to happen this year. Working on travel arrangements and all that fun stuff. A little late in the game for that, but I'm sure it'll be Delta Airlines or whoever airline's favorite customer for buying tickets last minute. So should be good to see that one. From there, we've got Battleborn Rally that's supposed to go off. I know we've got some rally schools that may be coming up on that one, but got a lot going on. So that's the next rally event that we're going to be doing. My question for you guys, the listeners, and everybody, around are we going to follow along? Because the W2RC, so World Rally Raid Championship, has several rounds throughout the year. It's not just the Dakar. The Dakar kind of kicks off the party. So I'm thinking, well, should we follow along? Should we go along if we have North American participation? Maybe do some chat before the competitors go out. Maybe talk to them a little bit. So could do that as well. Just kind of looking to see where we're going to do on that one, because aside from focusing on bringing coverage on the North American rallies that we're working on, we're also wanting to do a Rally 101 series. So for those, I've already kind of hinted at it. The first installment is going to be road books. There's going to be one on Rally Navigator and a tutorial on how to use that in a basic form, from the beginning, downloading, getting your first road book in, some practice stuff, working on the links, all of that right now. So should be good to go here very shortly. It'll be available over on YouTube because it's not necessarily a podcast platform type deal. But we're going to be doing that. It'll be a tutorial for that one. Again, going over basics, roadbook, that kind of thing. And then the next one, rally devices. So rally devices is going to be a big one because a lot of you guys have actually, which is really cool. I just hinted at that we were going to do a Rally 101, and emails, DMs coming through about, okay, how do we, well, are you going to cover this, or I'm curious about that. So awesome to see the engagement. I absolutely love it. I love when you guys, send the messages. It kind of gives me an idea of what we're looking for and what needs to be talked about. because obviously the main goal is getting people into rally. So if you guys got, some tips and tricks, or you guys remember something that when you got started in rally, for all of our listeners that have been doing this for some time, drop them. Let's get that information out. We can share that on the podcast. We can share that on this platform. And then that way we get more people into it and maybe help avoid some of the struggles and the growing pains of getting into a new sport. It can be a bit of an investment. Remember, it's an investment because you're having fun. So fun is the dividend. Never mind. So at the end of the day, the big thing is that getting more people into it in the easiest and safest way possible, although it is riding a motorcycle, so inherently that is dangerous. And then not only that, you're going to be learning how to navigate or going to be looking at road books, so you're going to have to kind of be distracted. So word for the wise, you're either, and this is from Jimmy Lewis, if you guys haven't tuned into that stuff, into his stuff, he's got the podcast as well as offering classes and things like that. But like he says, it's you're either navigating or you're riding or you're racing. So one or the other. So yeah. But our goal here is not to teach you about riding, not to teach you. It's about just getting you into the rally sport. If you've already done a little bit of riding, you're kind of familiar with it. And if you're on the adventure bike stuff, hey, you can do road book stuff too. So it's very easy. So we'll show you how to do that as well. Rally devices is going to be a big one. You have the rally tab from Willamette Racing. You've got a couple of different options that are out there. So we'll talk about those and trying to get you into like the most cost-effective way to start rallying, because unless you have a very bad case of shiny object syndrome and a really good relationship with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or any one of those, it could get very expensive very quickly. And then you end up with a pile of things in your lap and you're not sure how to use them, where to use them, and what to do with them. So even how to connect them and that kind of stuff. So we'll work on it little by little, but the goal is to get you guys into the sport in a way that makes sense, that will allow you to actually enjoy it. And the very, very first thing, and that's why I think that creating a road book is so critical, is to at least get you out there. Is it going to be, is the Dakar, is the ASO going to come to you and say, we saw the work that you did after watching the video that Victor with Chasing Waypoints did. We want to hire you as the premier road book maker. No, that is not, that will never happen. There is zero contracts going to happen from what I'm trying to do. The idea is trying to get smaller groups, somebody in that group, we all know them. I think it happens to be me and the group when we ride, like as far as going in and planning the route on a GPS and all that stuff. That I think is more my role in the group of riding when we used to ride more in groups. I should get back. So that you can take that skill set and convert it into being able to create road books in a fairly easy way. You just have to kind of know how to do it, and it's not that hard. And road books, you can see the one behind me if you guys are watching. And for those of you guys that have been following the show for a long time, in this case, in my background, I have one of the road books from the Baja Rally that was done. And so if you look at it, you can see how complicated they can get. Scotty over there doing these road books, you start having to put in this detail and all of these little things and all this is, cautions and things that help people navigate the road book better, is very, very important. So we see that, and something like this behind me is, you can make it as complicated as you want, or you can make it as basic as you want. You've heard me say it a few times already, that if you've ever done a Yahoo Maps or a MapQuest or anything like that, and it give you the written instructions, that's a road book. I mean, not by Dakar standards, but do you have a distance? Do you have a direction? Do you have some kind of additional note? You have the distance. You have the make a left, make a right. You have the information of on this street name, something along those lines. So, I mean, like it or not, I guess you could work on recreating that, printing out a MapQuest and then doing it, but that's not as much fun. We'll have more fun. All I'm going to say is that if you're the guy in the group that's got the GPS tracks, you're the one that has that stuff. So get ready. If you're watching this, get some of those together. And we'll get a video on showing you how to convert some of those into road books. So hell, maybe what we could do is do a live stream. What do you guys think? Do a live stream, and then I can build a road book. You guys can build a road book, and it's just practice for everybody. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, I have, years and years of road book experience. And no, my side of it is more on the administrative side of it. But I understand the concept. I understand the racing. I've written a couple of road books. I've done some stuff, but compared to some of the other people that are listening and tuning in, they've done a lot more. But if we start somewhere, then we can continue to grow. And that's the biggest thing, it's the idea of continuing to grow and getting the information out there so people actually understand how to get into this and don't get burned out and don't get, like, oh my God, I have all this equipment and I don't know what to do with it. I spent so many, and the wife's over there or the partner's over there tapping the fingers, Can you guys, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but yeah, doing that, like you spent how much? But I used the card with the most rewards. That doesn't matter. So that is going to be the game plan. We'll get you guys into that one. So stay tuned for that, and we will get that out shortly. Again, working on the final details of it. And so I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's a good direction, and I think we really want to get into it. I started doing like this thing on Instructables, or I don't know, it was this big long process, and like, yeah, we could do it on this. And it's like a teaching platform. And I was just like, we don't need another place to find this information. We just need a place to get the information. And so that is what I'm doing. I hope I do a well enough job explaining it so that you guys can get into it and you understand it. That is going to be the main goal on that one. So a lot of stuff coming. Absolutely excited about it and looking to doing some writing. So I don't know. I'm working on, so Kove in the news. Kove got the EPA rating or their EPA blessing to sell bikes, which means you can run them indoors for 34.8 minutes before it becomes dangerous. Just kidding. Being sarcastic. Yeah. So basically they've been approved. They've gotten the approval from the EPAs, which means that we've got street legal bikes coming soon for that one. And hopefully I've got a street legal Kove coming soon. And yeah, I'm going to jump on it. There's been a lot of things back and forth. We'll talk about the Kove thing really quick. I've seen comments about like, oh, that's all we're hearing about. That's all we're doing. And it's like, yeah, well, when KTM comes out with the new 500 in exactly 3.8 shades different orange, everybody's about it and everybody's talking about it. And then you have two sides of the field. Oh my, this bike is so dialed, but you ask and they don't know what they're talking about. Or you get the other crowd that's like, it's the same bike and it's just, it's a different shade of orange. Yeah, well, duh. I mean, you got to understand that, especially in the automotive world, the 2024 that you just saw that's brand new, that thing was being designed in 2022. And then it went to the local governments to be able to test the car and do all of this stuff and get it ready for the road and all of that. And then before it. So bike production is an interesting thing. Honestly, I can go back and say that, okay, first of all, I am not Mason Klein. And so I am very realistic in my riding abilities, and I do not believe that I could push a bike to its breaking point. I could maybe a dumb mistake, I could do those, whack a bush or two, but I do not have that ability. And so I understand what I'm getting into, and he is he literally advanced their development in just a few days by years, I think, or a couple of weeks, because obviously they were working on the bike before that. So the moral of the story, or the point that I'm getting to on this is just very simple. Is like, look, be realistic with your talent. Just because you see Mason on TV and he's running this thing to the very ragged edge does not mean that that's going to be you. And you could take it and say, well, yeah, but that just means longevity. And I go, yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, you've got bikes with 300, 400, 500 hours on it, 600 hours on it that are still lugging along. But I hope this doesn't sound bad. No. Okay. I wouldn't want a race bike from, say, Toby or one of the Benavides guys or any of those. I wouldn't want one of those bikes. One of those bikes with 300 hours on it, the chassis is probably a pretzel, is going to start stress fracturing. The engine, if it's still together, is definitely going to be tired. So yeah, but you know what? That's what they're doing it for, and that's why they're getting. So then that's why when you get one of the older bikes, or when you see something in the showroom, there's been some design and development behind it. It's like, hey, this is just racing them just creates an accelerated R&D plan for them. Obviously they don't want to, DNF races, and not every last bit of technology gets transferred into a street legal bike. That's not, that's not the game plan. So for me, I see it as like, okay, the first and foremost, the price is right. Second of all, and actually I kind of feel like this is a tie. I think the moment that kind of changed my mind about, should I do it? Should I not? Was watching the owner admit to development setbacks and things that could be improved on the bike as they were happening. So there was mechanicals with some of the other teams, and I don't remember hearing any team principal saying it was our fault. It was an engineering thing. We didn't do we didn't do enough testing on this. I don't remember hearing that. Actually, I don't remember ever hearing that. So I get it. It's one of those things like, hey, yeah, you can't even say the quality because, at the end of the day, it's one of those things that like, okay, listen, it doesn't have, there was somebody that made a comment on one of the videos that I did. And honestly, I just felt like at the end, I reread it, like I responded to it. You guys can go on a treasure hunt if you want to see it. But in the end, it's like, okay, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people will watch a video and then become an expert on something. And I try and assume that that's not the case, that they have ridden a bike, that they have done something. And I ask genuine questions like, hey, well, okay, what did you, because I want to know, because I think that it's a very valid thing. If you're going to give a review on it, or add the disclaimer, hey, I was watching this video and I heard that it's kind of down on power, man. So I don't know. Instead of, oh, it only has this much power, which is, and honestly, as some people have been saying, is you really don't need that much horsepower in the dirt. And if I'm on the highway and I'm on a 450 and I have to get by a semi truck because I have to get by a semi truck, I'm not going to be upset that it doesn't accelerate like my adventure bike. Just saying. They're two different things. So, but in the dirt, yeah, I could tell you that one's going to, well, okay, here comes the disclaimer. Unless you're Quinn Cody on an adventure bike on doing a hare scramble, then it's a whole nother thing. But for the most part, for the average rider, for the majority of us, and who I consider myself a beginner to intermediate rider, it's not, it's enough. It's more than enough. And trust me, I have the worst shiny object syndrome. I've got a 501 with like 2 hours on it since I purchased it. That's got all these things on it, but yet it was ridden up to about 300 hours with it in basically stock form. So that goes, I guess that, I don't know. Did I just throw myself under the bus on that? No, not really. I mean, it's just what it is. I don't have time. I'm working on it, and what else can I do? So, but it's coming out of the garage. It's coming out of the trailer, and we're going to put it in the garage. We're going to put mousses in it because it's got tubes right now. We're going to get the right tires. We're getting ready for SoCal, and then just go out and ride it. And Gnarly Dave, if he's listening to this, is going, I told you, damn it, Taco. So that is the plan, and yeah, I want one of the Kove bikes. I think first things first, the mirrors are gone. If anybody from the Department of Transportation is listening to this, the bike will only be used off-road without mirrors. It will not be used on public roads with mirror or without the proper safety equipment and attachments that are required by law in the state of California, pursuant to your ridiculous tax laws. So with that being said, I think that having that bike, being able to do some road books and some riding on it, and then having the 501 as the kind of like the adventure or the rally light bike, when the riding I know might be a little bit more dicey or a little bit more spicy, having that as the backup bike. And, who's to say, we'll go put a bunch of miles on the Kove. Maybe we'll start commuting on it. Look, at the end of the day, remember how we were talking just now about how the Dakar is kind of an accelerated, platform for basically pushing things. In case some people forgot, and I don't mean that facetious, we're not going to go there right now. I didn't really have my morning coffee this morning, so we cannot forget that in their first attempt at the Dakar, all 3 Kove rally bikes, the Gen 1 rally bikes, finished. Motor package, engine package, or motor package, suspension package, chassis package, as you see the bike built and as you are purchasing it. There was no factory equipment on it. This is literally the same bike that you're buying. They all finished the Dakar. So you mean to tell me that they did 5,000 miles of racing, and it was long. So you mean to tell me that they did 5,000 miles of racing, and liaison and all that stuff. And 3 bikes. So you had 3 chances for those 5,000. So now you've got cumulatively, you've got 15,000 miles on 3 bikes that could have had 3 different, issues with 3 different riders and done. And then you send bikes over to Sonora Rally. Sunier was here, did the Sonora Rally. And then you have Mike Johnson, who did Sonora Rally, then turned it around and then went straight down the Baja Peninsula for the Nora 1000. There's a lot of people that I get to talk to directly that I can call and they can tell me, and I've seen them on the bikes, and none of them are saying that, it's a little down on power. The RFR kind of walked away. Yeah, it's an RFR bike with a race engine on it. Okay. But now you've got a Gen 2 rally engine. But I mean, do you really want that? Okay. Want and need. And I don't need to we don't need to go over the whole want and need thing, but I mean, it's true. I mean, it is 100% facts. Do you really feel like I really wish I had that 500 horse, those extra 50 horsepower? Or do I really wish that I had it? I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Those extra 5 or 6 horsepower. Do I really wish I had that? And you know what? If you're going to go do some riding where it's going to be extra spicy in the dirt and you could really use the power, if that's where you want it, we'll gear it down. Just saying, or if it's on the highway, I was like, man, I wish I could pass semi trucks faster. Okay, well, you're on a 450. Grow up, get a 1,000cc adventure bike. That'll pass a semi truck really quickly. Even the 700, even the 790 doesn't pass them as much as quickly as I feel like I could ride. Now, I've been on some pretty fast bikes. I've been on a BMW S1000 XR. That bike, by the way, is kind of scary because that motor is so tame right at that 65 to 70 if you're just cruising. But the moment you crack the throttle and it knows the difference between like trying to get around and then just like attack mode. Wow. Absolutely amazing. The amount of acceleration that bike puts out, the how linear the torque curve is on that thing, how smooth that thing is, and is just crazy. But that's what it's designed for. It's designed to be a street bike. It's designed to be a comfortable standard, right? Upright seating position, similar to that of a dirt bike, but it's got motard wheels on it. I don't know. That's just how I see it. And, I don't know. It's like close to 200 horsepower. So yeah, you would assume that, but dude, you can't take a 40 horsepower dirt bike and, be mad that it's not passing cars when you want it to, or in a manner that you feel like it's passing cars. That's not what it's designed for. It's designed to be a rally bike, designed to be a dirt bike. So anyway, rant over. I don't know if that was really a rant, but that was just my opinion on it, and I haven't ridden it. I have not, but I know a lot of people close enough to me to form my own opinion and to say, okay, I'm willing to step up to the line and get one. So then I have my own opinion and I can form my own opinion on how this bike works and all that stuff. And I will never touch a bike. I will never if I own a bike, the suspension is going to be done on it, period. It is what it is. It's too much. It makes too much of a difference on the way that the bike works that to not say, well, yeah, I got it off the factory showroom floor and man, the suspension was really bad, because I'm hearing both sides of the fence. So how can you form an exact opinion on a bike, on any bike, when you have one person saying that it's like the harshest, crappiest thing ever, and you got the other person saying it's so soft, it's so plush, oh my, it's so great. How can you literally form an opinion? Because if you put weight on that opinion on the left, and then you have the opinion on the right, and we're not talking politics here, we're just visually, if you guys are watching this, can see left and right hands. If you've got those two opposing opinions, but you believe one and you don't believe the other, well then, why did you believe that one over this one? Do you identify more with that rider? Do you understand? So then at that point, well, then you got to take a look. Well, do they say every bike is harsh, or are we just talking this one? What are we doing? You got to remember too, the bike's got to hold 8.5 gallons of gas. 8.5 gallons of gas times 7 pounds. You guys do the math, and we're comparing it to a bike that holds 2 gallons at most right off the factory showroom floor. Hey, I can do that math. They only got to do 14 pounds. They only got to account for 14 pounds of gas. So I don't know. Okay. Next topic. So we already talked about what's coming up. We've got some rally raid stuff coming. We've got the road book making stuff coming, equipment stuff coming, like in short order. So stay absolutely tuned. We'll try and figure out how to get it out on the podcast to let you guys know that the videos are available. Maybe we'll do a quick news brief, something like that, and we'll make it happen. And so I think it's going to be really awesome. I can tell you that it grew in North America, Mexico, US, Canada. I can tell you that the sport this last year in 2023 grew, and I do not see any signs of slowing down. I think a lot of things are coming, and there's going to be a lot of events. You can put together a whole series. As we talked about with Willem, hey, you know what? I understand that the Dakar is the Dakar. It will always be the Dakar, just like the Baja 1000 will always be the Baja 1000, and it will always be a bucket list item. But like I've spoken with other people, is like, okay, you can spend $100,000 to try and go to the Dakar, or you could spend $100,000 and pick up a bike, own it, and go to every North American rally and probably still have money left over. And not only will you have not just visited one country, you will have visited a couple of them and different parts of those countries. Just saying. So I don't know. I think that sounds like a better win. It's more of the winning proposition there. I don't know. What do you guys think? So that is it for this one. I'm going to keep it. Oh, look at that. 27 minutes as it goes. So, oh yeah, they're both in sync. So when you guys see me look to my right, yeah, right, that's the podcast. If I look to the left, that's where the camera is. So if you guys are watching on Spotify, this is new to me. So let's find out. What do you guys think? Should we be available on the Spotify platform? Continue to do this, or should we just stick video YouTube and then stick audio with you guys listening on and all the other podcast platforms? I don't know. What do you think? So I think I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. Let's just help this thing grow. So remember your homework. If you're the guy that has all the GPS files, start making a folder where you have GPS files that you want to try and convert into Roadbook. Let's see, where is it? If you're the techie guy, stay tuned. We've got, gear and how to install it coming in short order. And if you've been doing Rally for a while, and I know a lot of you guys do, in the Facebook, or excuse me, not the Facebook, in the WhatsApp group that we're part of. And if you've done this and done it for a while, hey, tell me what your recommendations are so we can put those up on the show. Send me your recommendations. Hey, the rookies should be doing this. I feel like this, I learned this early on in my rally career or rally endeavors. And I think this is important for people to know. So send that stuff into me. I want to share it with everybody. So we can get, again, let's continue to grow this community. It's not that hard. It's just, you just need to have the information out there. And that's the biggest thing, is if you try and look, and I've looked, and it's not necessarily easy to do it, or it's complicatedly simplified, if that's even a term. And so we're going to start. And it's like, here's the thing. Well, it's going to be another video, another thing of that, or how to learn that. Okay. You are absolutely right. But if you could tell me that when you were in school and doing your studies and you understood every single teacher and you agreed with every single teacher's teaching method and you understood every single one of them, first of all, hats off. That's a great accomplishment. But I know that there's probably 2 or 3 teachers that you didn't care for. And that's the whole thing. So everybody teaches it slightly different, and that's okay. But the main goal is that if you can go, my goal, and I'll be very, very clear with this one. My goal is that if I likely won't do a in-person rally school to that kind of level, because that's not my thing. I mean, it could be once I have more experience and I would feel maybe a little bit more comfortable doing that, we could get something going, but we could also get something like Super Rally Basics. But the main thing is, my main, how I see it is, And I'm going to reach out to the organizations that do the rally schools. And it's like, okay, what would save you time for your students? And I'll pose the question and we'll see if they respond. What would save you time for your students, your alum, however you want to say it, when they come to a rally school, your rally school? What would save you time and make for a better experience? I'm not, and I don't want to make it sound like the dumb questions, right? And I'm probably giving away a lot of what my plans are and my intentions are. And they say not to do that because then, then blah, 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 the dopamine thing. I don't know. There's some science behind it. But at the end of the day, it's because we all need to work together if we want to see this thing grow. And so if we want to see this thing grow, it's very simple. If you guys have a rally school and you're doing all that stuff, what is going to save you time? What is going to allow you to get straight to doing road books? What is going to allow you to get straight to getting students or people that are interested in learning how to do rally raid right out onto a road book? The quickest to it, because the more we all know, like I don't think anybody gets into the whole like learning how to navigate and learning how to do this stuff because all they want to do is create the road book. No, they want to go out and ride it. They don't want to get into rally because they're tired of riding in the same place. And they want to go out and experience new things in the same places. I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, you could put a road book in front of you and down a trail that every single rock, but you don't know when the next turn is. You don't know what their directions are because you're on a road book. You're familiar with the terrain, which is an advantage. But as far as, the directions of it, you're on equal footing. So I don't know. So that's the whole thing is, if we can make it easier or if we can encourage you to get into a rally school, and show up feeling a little bit more confident and understanding what your equipment is and getting ready, like you feel better prepared, you're gonna have way more fun. That is it. So we're gonna leave it on that one, guys. Remember, it'll make sense when you get there. Enjoy the ride.